hard to convince people to come here in the wintertime, and I think that's some of the finest fishing. You know, it's nice and comfortable. You know, you wear a little, you know, light fleece or something in the morning, and then you can come out of that in the middle of the day, and you know, the water's typically clear, and the grass is a little bit thinner, so it's easy to see the fish.
Right up in the head of this. Look at something coming right.
Yep. Yeah, that wake looks a little more beefy. Oh yeah, we spooked.
That's him.
Scared the dog doo-doo out of that one.
Probably about a 22-inch red. Looks like.
Let's look over here.
Yeah, I see it.
There you go. Yeah, just catch up. It's nice to be able to have that weedless and be able to throw it all through that stuff. He's definitely in a ball of stuff. I'm gaining. They feel big when you got an extra 10 pounds of grass with them. It's a nice fish. I think so. Boy, I am under some stuff right here. It's a unique sound. You can find him in there. There he is.
Behind all of it. My goodness.
Yeah, there's some stuff. Yeah, there you go. You got slack line.
There he is.
Nice, sir.
That's a nice incident.
Very cool.
Look how pretty he is.
Oh, they're beautiful. Look how dark that fish is. Very pretty.
Pretty tough day.
I'm telling you, hard-working Captain Steve makes life better.
Yeah. Well, like you said,
You know, you saw the kind of thick grass that we're in here, and these fish, we've seemed to have spooked more fish in this thick stuff than anything else. It does not lend itself to fishing an exposed hook jig. So I was using a screw lock bait that I could bury into the body where I could expose that lure to the fish without just snagging grass. And that's what it took to catch these fish in here today, so quite cool. This is one of our new baits. It's actually designed somewhat after some of the bass style lures. And when I first got it, a gentleman, his name's Paul Stark, who designs a lot of baits and works with a lot of the Bass Pro guys, we had talked about making a swim type lure where they're very popular, and this thing did have a hole through the eyeball, and the insert went way forward, which meant I couldn't really fish it with a jig head at all. And I really, you know, this is salt water. I like to fish a jig head, so I set it up where I could fish it with the screw lock. However, I can stick a jig head, and there's plenty of meat in it before it gets to the insert that creates this cavity here. It's got the slot in the top like many of the weedless style baits do, so this hook point can lay right down there, and I don't have to stick it back into the plastic and fish it through this heavy, thick grass. And today when we were fishing, we found our fish in these mats of almost floating, I don't even know what that stuff is called, but it's just almost like moss that's just floating. It seems like these fish were a little bit comfortable in it. And with something like this tail is designed to have a very hard beat to it. So it puts out that pulse which can draw that red fish in, and it seemed to work. And it's got a lot of mass. It's got a lot of plastic in it, which allows me to cast it very well, get good distance casting. So to be able to throw something weedless where I can get good distance casting, I'm going to be a happy boy.
We're running the flats. The fish seem to be out in a little deeper water because there's just not any cover up in the skinny water, which we normally fish a foot, foot and a half. So they seem like they're staying out in about 2.5 feet. They're moving around a lot, trying to find a place they're comfortable in because we've had such a massive grass kill between the heavy summer rains of the 4th of July and the severely cold, unusually cold winter for this place. So The fish are here. They're transitioning.
Trying to
So
figure out what's going on.
yeah.
A bent rod is really a nice thing. Nice little trout. He's going, wait a minute. That bait's fighting back. Same thing, Captain, nice golden. You know, they trout when they're in this water, they turn that nice gold color too. Hey there, buddy. I don't think you're getting off. We're letting all these fish go. I always make sure I get my hand wet before I touch that fish. Hey, you. Another thing about trout, like down where we live, same as here, I find when the water's cold, trout fight great. When the water's warm, they don't fight so great. Nice little snaggletooth guy. Thank you. That was very kind of you. See you later. In the evolution of my fishing career, I kind of figured that when I designed the shrimp, I think that was stingray. I caught a bunch of fish and used a lot of real shrimp because I had them, and kind of learned to fish that way and got pretty good at it. But when I moved to Austin, Texas, a good buddy of mine worked at a tackle shop. He bass fished a lot. And I started using plastics, and then I started realizing that all those shrimp boats that were dragging their nets through Galveston Bay constantly, were not doing any good for the environment. And the bycatch of a shrimp net in a bay system where you've got an estuary, to me, it was just not right. And so I started kind of believing in artificials more and more from a conservation point of view, as well as, you know, I just loved fooling a fish on a piece of plastic. And since when we had a bait shrimp license, half of our shrimp had to be sold live. And so we had a big tank that we would store our shrimp in if we got back late before we took them to the tackle shops. And so I'd watch the way they'd swim down in the water and just kind of drift. They basically can move like a helicopter. They've got those 19 sets of peddler fins, and they just go any way they want. But basically, they just glide along. A lot of folks think the only way they move is to go backwards, but the other 98%, they're going forward and climbing around on the bottom. So I wanted something that I could make do that. So I had been making my own baits for a long time. I stole my sister's little polyvinyl plastic thing that she made creepy crawlers, and I started making, I discovered I could wrap a piece of aluminum foil around a pencil and pour some plastic in it and make my own worms. And so I started kind of messing around with different making my own artificials, and the shrimp was an evolution. I wanted to make a good artificial shrimp. And in hindsight, at first I didn't think it would be true, but it is true at this point, and I'll stand behind it all day long, is that I can throw a plastic shrimp and I can throw a live shrimp in the same area, and my plastic shrimp will catch bigger fish. And I think a lot of times it's because those small fish are attacking that shrimp and they're eating at it. And I think a lot of times those small fish are going to come at my shrimp, and it's going to draw other fish to it. And since they can't eat the eyeballs and legs all off of it right off the bat, then it gives that bigger fish a chance to react to what's going on, and it seems to let it drop down better and seem to catch real good fish. Very satisfying feeling anytime you can make your own lure and catch fish with it. And so I didn't really think I was going to make a living out of it, but I did it because I love to fish and I had fun making them, and made them out of silicone, and then I started giving some away, and then people wanted to start buying them a little bit, and so I started making them for my friends, and then I started selling them and probably lost about $10 every time I sold one because they were so much work compared to what I get for them. But as I learned, you know, to be more efficient at everything and learned about injection machines, I actually decided I could make a living out of it. And for quite a while there. I wasn't making much of a living out of it, but I didn't have a wife and kids, so I could live very cheap. And so then I kind of learned some of the secrets of making lures, and now it supports me and my family and some of my friends, and it's been pretty good. It's like baseball and fishing been very, very good to me. Oop, miss, swing and a miss. It's called the too much belly in the line. Ed generally outfishes me, so when I'm out fishing him, he's gonna take it personal. And you can suspend a bait for a trout all day long, but if I want that red, I want to be scuffing that bottom.
Feels good to bend a rod, doesn't it, Ed?
And a thump though. Great.
Like, I know that feeling. Hello, trout. Hey, it's going to be a trout someday, trout. You're going to grow up and be a big trout someday. Oh, we got a double. Okay. All right, I'm sure to catch one now because I've got on the bait that really works.
Okay, little guy, relax.
Oh, darn. Don't know what.
We've been out here fishing today on the edge of a cold front that's coming in, and tough conditions. Captain Steve's been poling his rear end off for us, and we've had a great time today. We got up in some skinny water, caught real nice redfish. We've caught some nice little trout, bent a rod in a tough condition day, and that's always the best. Anytime I can be on the water is great. You need to give Captain Steve a call, PanamaCityInshore.com. It's nice of you to bring the Blue Angels here for us. You know, we come to fish here. That's pretty sweet of you guys.
For everything you need on or off the water, visit the Panama City and St. Andrews Marinas. Both locations provide you with easy access boat slips, ramps, fuel, bait, and tackle. Come visit our ship stores and see our unique nautical gifts and clothing, or just relax with a cool drink and grab a snack while watching the boats come in.
Don't forget that Mariner on your shopping list. Come by and see our unique nautical gifts, cards, and clothing at the ship store at Panama City or St. Andrews Marina.
Panama City and St. Andrews Marinas, everything you remember and so much more.
Panama City living is simply better without glasses. The Eye Center of North Florida offers the most advanced surgeries, including lifestyle lens implants for cataract patients and custom view blade-free LASIK. Both procedures leave you with clear vision, and in most cases, glasses-free. The Eye Center of North Florida.
9 doctors, 1 vision, yours.
It's our new airhead bait, and when I designed it, I really designed it just to put a jig head in it for the most part and fish it with the tail hole. But after I'd come out with it, not even a month after I'd come out with it, I was getting calls from people in Lake Okeechobee saying, we're catching a bunch of bass with it, and they were all cutting what they call a buzz tail. And they were taking this tail right here, and you can use a hole punch, or I happen to be target shooting at a friend's house, and this is a 223 round, and it happens to be a perfect hole. And so I just simply take the 223 and just spin it a little bit and cut a hole in the thing. And the reason why I did that, and the reason why they taught me that, is because they'll get that, and then of course they'll cut a slice right here into that hole. And what that does is when they're pulling it through that thick sawgrass, it opens up and it doesn't continue to tear. If you just cut a straight slice, it would continue to tear and end up ripping off. But when you cut it to that hole, it just opens up and it stays nice and clean. We've used a bunch of different hooks in this bait, and They say, why don't you design one for it? But somebody already did it for me, and I don't need to. This owner hook, it seems to, we use our hooks. I'll use one of my long neck hooks and put a piece of foam in it sometimes and fish it like a top water. When I designed the lure, I put a big teardrop shape insert in it so it traps air in there real well. If I want to, I can put a piece of foam in there or do any number of things. But with this owner hook, they got the patent on this, this little point right here. And that point allows you, with these screw locks, just to stick it right in there and then screw it in, and it centers it automatically, which is a real nice feature. I'm a pretty basic person. I believe in the theory, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they did such a nice job with this hook, it's as if they almost made it for me, because that thing slides right in there. And then you got something completely weedless, and it's got a very natural, real good swim to it. We'll demonstrate that in a minute. But I can fish it through anything, and when I made that teardrop shaped hole, it allows this bait to collapse very easily, so I get a good hook set. So that's enough blabbing. I'm gonna fish it.
The Captain Anderson makes fishing a breeze. There's a galley on board, and your comfortable trip is all-inclusive. Rod, reel, tackle, bait, and your fishing license. The traditional all-day trip from 7 to 5 p.m. Come aboard the Captain Anderson for a relaxing day of bottom fishing. There's plenty of room, so bring the whole family. It's a whopping big adventure, and that's no fishtail. The Captain Anderson is located at Captain Anderson's Marina, where the fish are always biting and the kids are always smiling. Please call for cruise schedules.
Sunjammers and Hobie Kayaks provide the ultimate lightweight fishing platforms that will offer anyone what they need when it comes time to hit the water. Hobie Kayaks' commitment to innovation, quality, and owner satisfaction is unparalleled in the industry, and the service and selection provided by Sunjammers Water Sports is top-notch. So when it's time for you to go kayak fishing, there's only two names you need to remember: Sunjammers Water Sports and Hobie Kayaks. Sunjammers Water Sports is located on the west end of Panama City Beach and online at sunjammers.com.
Release. Quick release.
Not a bad fish. That's the cool thing about this place we're at that we don't talk about. You got Spanish, Ling. His name cannot be spoken. But I figure if you know, you know. So today, you know, we were primarily going out looking for redfish and trout and flounder, and we ran across a bunch of pompano, and they were looking at our jigs, but we didn't have any pompano jigs on the boat. So I'm going to show you a little trick. We didn't catch one, but we got a lot of looks, and this is a central southern Florida trick. If you're in a jam and you find pompano and you need to come up with a quick rig, this is a DOA crimp bait with a DOA shrimp hook, and I'm going to show you how to rig this bait. So now we'll stop. A lot of us in the Panhandle, especially in Bay County, are fans of DOA baits, and we have a lot of varieties of baits. I always carry a kit on board in my bag with a number of different DOA baits, but in particular, as we're looking to make an impromptu pompano jig, a lot of people fish with a DOA shrimp. This is the standard rig that comes pre-rigged. What you need to do is you need to remove the hook from your shrimp. And DOA makes a lot of really cool crimp weights you can use with their swimming jigs in different colors. And it's real simple. You take that shrimp hook, and all you do is you put that crimp weight on there, and then simply just pull a couple of these eyes onto the hook shank, and you have a quick and easy pompano jig. Really similar to a Doc's Goofy jig or some other ones that are made, but it's an effective tool. Actually works well on trout and other fish, and again, it's one way to take what you have and improvise and go catch more fish.
Nice one, too. 3-pounder.
Well,
There goes another one right there.
it's like the little homemade jig worked. Great catch, you know. We came back out after I rigged this. We almost gave up on the pompanos, and we had to give it one more try. Nathan hooked up with a ladyfish, and I backed it up with a pompano. Got a little crazy for a second, but
Sight cast between
ready. Sight cast pompano. It's always fun. Check out that rig.
Oh, he bit it too. It's coming back. It swam off, didn't it?
Broke me off. Woohoo! The end of my jig. The end of my custom-made jig.
When you only have one shot, one chance, there are only two names to remember: Browning and C&G Sporting Goods. C&G carries the full line of Browning rifles, shotguns, handguns, knives, and clothing. Like the Browning X-Boat, every component of the Browning X-Boat works together to deliver the most critical feature: total accuracy. Visit C&G Sporting Goods today, because you don't want to miss that one shot.
Hi, my name is Donnie McArdle, and this is Mexico Beach Marina and Yamaha's Tip of the Week. Today we're going to be talking about general maintenance items. 3 key points in preventative maintenance. Number 1, it's cheaper to prevent maintenance than to have to fix it. Number 2, that ensures by doing your preventative maintenance that you have more time on the water with less problems. Today we're going to look at doing your annual or 100-hour service. On this particular engine, this happens to be a 4-stroke 115 Yamaha. We do your oil and filter, spark plugs, gear lube. A lot of people ask me about water pump impellers. Yamaha suggests you inspect it annually. I have people on an every other year replacement program. The labor's the same, you spend just a little extra money and you get that part knowing in there that you've got a brand new part and you're less likely to have overheat issues. Also, you want to check your fuel lines, make sure your fuel lines are pliable and fuel filters clean. We suggest and recommend changing your fuel filters at the 100-hour interval. That includes the engine here on the filter that you can see, your water separator filter that is usually mounted inside the boat, and at every 200 hours or second year, go for your fuel injection filter, which are a little tougher to get to, and we recommend doing those when you do an annual service so you're not having to spend less time on the water. Spark plugs. We always recommend using the plugs that was designed for this engine, which Yamaha uses NGK. I have seen several engines come in that had non-NGK plugs in them, and 9 times out of 10, that was the issue with the engine, having the wrong parts installed or aftermarket parts installed. So Yamaha and myself, we strongly recommend using genuine Yamaha parts.
Hi, I'm Captain Jamie Wilkinson with Bay County Outdoors.
And I'm Captain Justin Leake with PanamaCityInshore.com.
And this is your Bay County Outdoors Fishing Report. So we're out looking for pompano. Big mass starts coming down the beach, it's jacks.
Yes, right.
Is this time of year normal for jack?
Yeah, springtime, the water temperature hits 65 degrees, which is kind of the magic number for everything to start showing up. Your cobias, Spanish mackerel.
So top water is the preferred.
Top water plug and on the fly. We catch a lot of them on the fly, and I tell you, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You take that same top water plug, take the hooks off, and as long as you keep that plug moving, those jacks will continue to bite it, and they can't get it, and they get mad at it. And if you got a fly rod set up with a big popper, you get that in front of those jacks, and it's a lot of fun.
For your latest fish reports, go to BayCountyOutdoors.com.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook.